there are two elements, right, to possession, all right? The first thing is control. So for you to be in possession of a weapon, gun, or drugs, as a matter of law, they have to prove that you can control that item, okay? So most of you pointed out that the driver would always have to answer because he's in control of the car. Correct. The second aspect is knowledge. You can't be in possession of something if you don't know. The only exception to that would be if the gun was in a bag and someone gave it to someone. In a car it's different because a car, like a house, is something that various people have access to and could have been planted there without the driver knowing. But if it's in a bag that you're holding, even if you don't know what's in the bag, you're guilty of carrying that gun and you get 5 years. Okay? If you're under 18, it's 3. The one thing that you have to bear in mind, I'll get to that. The one thing you have to bear in mind is that there's circumstances in which even if you have a gun, you may not get 5 years. There's something called exceptional circumstances, which mean that the court doesn't have to give you the mandatory 5 years, and they can give you anything they want, which is lower. And that's if you have any personal circumstances or circumstances in relation to the offence that the court should exercise a degree of leniency on you. Alright? Or you're a snitch and you've given the police information. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. So those are the three situations. Now, you guys can't see, so return back to your seats as I go. Give them a round of applause. Okay.
Is that the best you lot got?
Now, someone mentioned earlier about what to say. Okay? Now, if, for example, you have a knife on you, these are the reasons why you're entitled to have a knife on you. Okay? Good reason or lawful authority to do so. Okay? If you're a police officer or you have an official job which requires you to carry a weapon, such as being security, etc. Okay, I'm not sure if you have the requisite, certificates and stuff. I don't know. I do. Then fine. For use at work, if you're a chef, okay, or you do manual labour,
oh yes,
you're a builder, okay.
Do you have to be on your way or from your work?
Well, that's a very good question. Now, there's a case I had. I'm going to tell you what happened, and you're going to tell me what you think happened. No reflection of anything, but I'll give you the full background. The client was a Polish builder, okay, and police stopped him Saturday night. Just come back from the pub, and in the back of his car, he had his toolbox, and he had the biggest machete I've ever seen in my life. Okay, and his excuse for having it in the car was that he's a builder. Okay, what do you think happened to him? No. Show of hands.
Saturday night.
I thought you got back.
Oh, were you defending him?
Yeah.
Okay, that changes.
Oh, that changes it. You probably got him off.
You went down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
You got arrested by a
but
busted.
it was on a technicality.
There you go.
Because at the time that he had it, it wasn't for the purposes or use of work. So it was guilty. Like at the time that he had it, he never had it on him for the purpose of the use of work.
So you got charged straight away.
So he got charged, we went to court, but the reason why he got off was that the police didn't do something that they were supposed to do, and therefore I said that the evidence was inadmissible. And that's how he got off. But as a matter of law,
What didn't they do?
So what happened was that they didn't seize and exhibit the items that they said were taken. So what happened was that they brought these weapons that come in, and if my client didn't accept that those were his weapons, how could they prove they came from the car?
Oh gosh, technicality. I love
So my
it.
client didn't give evidence. We shut up and we're like, can't prove it.
Oh, we're cool. That's proper.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you is that if, let's not lose the point of it. If, for example, you have something and your craft is to carry a weapon on you, if you're not going to work or coming from work, chances are
You're getting banked.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the difficulty you're gonna find yourself in. For religious reasons, Sikhs carry knives, and they're entitled to do so
For their religious
for their religious reasons.
It's a certain inch though, isn't it?
How do you, how,
And they got depending on how entrenched they are in the religion, it gets bigger and bigger.
Really? So basically,
but so, do you, how can you prove that you're Sikh? Or prove it? Or how can this disprove that you're Sikh?
that can't
Well,
be right, can it?
Ordinarily, it involves some profiling. So if you don't look like you're Sikh, then yeah.
But like, what I mean is, I know it probably sounds like a really stupid question, but if you went to court and you were clean shaven, but you still said that you were Sikh, could you?
But then the issue
could
you
they
have
disprove
is
that you're not?
it depends what your ethnicity was. So for example, if I tried to do it, I'd probably laugh and say, Sunday Okiwani.
Yeah, but you could have
What are
taken
you
the
Sikh?
religion. What if you took that religion on?
The problem that you have though is that there are some religions, unfortunately,
Can't convert.
you can't convert to. From my knowledge, I don't believe you can be a Sikh if you're not born into it.
Yeah, you need to have never cut your hair or something. They don't cut their hair,
You
innit?
can't be
Okay,
Jewish
from
either. So,
birth.
Yeah, from birth, yeah.
yeah, so there's no way. Very
Mad.
good. So,
You have mad long hair.
so when you say clean shaven, I would have been out anyway. Okay. And again, part of your national costume. Okay. So there are some national or natives, I should say, that carry knives as part of their costume. Okay. There are some indigenous tribes in India that do so. Yeah.
India.
But it'll be very difficult if you're not dressed in your appropriate attire and just carrying a big machete. And you're like, oh yeah, it's part of my national costume, but you're not in costume. Yeah?